You're talking to someone who simply cannot grasp what you're saying, not because you've explained it poorly, but because they genuinely lack the ability to understand it. You simplify, you switch metaphors, you try new angles, they nod along, they agree, they appear engaged. Yet minutes later, the core idea has vanished from their mind, as if it was never there at all. Or maybe you've watched someone make the same obvious mistake again and again, ignore clear evidence, reject sound reasoning, and choose emotion over logic every single time. And you find yourself asking, how is this even possible? Here's what Arthur Schopenhauer understood about human intelligence. Most people operate far below the level you were taught to expect. Not because they're evil, but because their cognitive capacity is fundamentally limited. And the moment you accept this, your suffering stops. Because the pain was never about their behavior, but about the gap between your expectations and their actual limits. Schopenhauer spent decades studying human stupidity in its rawest forms, recording his observations with ruthless honesty. No comforting illusions, no polite sugarcoating, no fantasy that everyone can think critically if they just try hard enough. Only the uncomfortable truth about intelligence and its scarcity. Today, I'm going to share Schopenhauer's framework for dealing with people who cannot think at your level, not to inflate your ego, but to help you navigate a world where real intelligence is far rarer than you were led to believe. Once you internalize this, everything shifts. Frustration dissolves, disappointment fades. You stop wasting energy on interactions that never had a chance to succeed. You begin operating with the clarity that comes from facing reality without illusion. Let's begin. Schopenhauer wrote that the majority of men are not capable of thinking but only of believing, and are not accessible to reason but only to authority. This is the foundation. Most people do not actually think. They memorize, they echo, they repeat what they've absorbed. You present logic, they reply with catchphrases. You show evidence, they answer with feelings. You use reason, they retreat to what everyone knows. They are not engaging with your argument. They are defending pre-installed beliefs they never examined. Schopenhauer recognized that when you're dealing with people who cannot think, you are not having an intellectual exchange. You are watching someone protect programming that they did not choose and cannot question. The intelligent person's first move is simple. Stop expecting thought. Expect repetition. Save your real reasoning for the few who can actually meet you there. Schopenhauer wrote, "The common man is not capable of thought, but only of belief." You were conditioned to believe that intelligence is widespread, that with the right environment nearly everyone is smart. That is a comforting myth. The reality he observed is that most people function cognitively just above instinct. They react to triggers, follow crowds, and repeat behaviors without knowing why. Real intelligence, abstract thought, logical rigor, intellectual honesty, is exceptionally rare. Perhaps a small minority, maybe 5%, maybe less. Watch how people make choices, not through analysis, but through emotion and social pressure. Watch how they form beliefs, not through inquiry, but through tribal belonging. Watch how they argue, not to discover truth, but to protect their side. This is the norm. Intelligence is the exception. Schopenhauer's philosophy demands you recalibrate your expectations. You are not surrounded by hidden geniuses waiting to be awakened. You are surrounded by organisms running default scripts. The intelligent person adjusts accordingly. He also wrote, "A man can surely do what he wills, but he cannot determine what he wills." This is the key to saving years of frustration. Some people cannot understand you. Not will not, cannot. Their cognitive design does not support the level of abstraction you're using. You're explaining calculus to someone struggling with basic arithmetic. You're speaking philosophy to a mind confined to surface reactions. You're offering nuance to someone who only processes in black and white. This gap cannot be bridged by clearer explanation. The capacity simply isn't there. Schopenhauer's insight is liberating. When someone doesn't understand you, it isn't your failure. You've just encountered the limits of their architecture. The intelligent person stops trying to span unbridgeable distances. They give people only what those people can actually receive, and then they move on. Schopenhauer observed, "Against stupidity, the gods themselves contend in vain." And you've seen this. Those with the least intelligence are often the most certain. They are fiercely confident. They do not question themselves. They do not entertain the possibility of being wrong. Real doubt requires real intelligence, the ability to imagine alternatives and recognize one's own limits. Without that capacity, genuine doubt is impossible. So they're certain, completely certain, about everything. You present contradicting facts, they reject them with confidence. You point out logical flaws, they brush them aside with confidence. You prove them wrong beyond doubt, they double down with even greater confidence. Modern psychology calls this the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less competent someone is, the more competent they believe themselves to be. Schopenhauer saw this long before it had a label. His conclusion is straightforward. Do not engage with aggressive ignorance. There is no victory there. Confidence built on incomprehension is immune to reason. The intelligent person recognizes the futility and disengages. Schopenhauer wrote, "Intellect is invisible to the man who has none." Watch how most people form opinions. They don't gather information, analyze it, and then decide. They feel first, and then construct reasons afterward to justify the feeling. Fear shapes their worldview. Anger shapes their judgments. Insecurity shapes their criticisms. Emotion arrives first. The reasoning is merely backfilled to support it. You present logical arguments against their stance. They discard the logic because the underlying emotion remains unchanged. You cannot reason someone out of a position they did not reason themselves into. Schopenhauer strips away the illusion. Much of what is called thinking is merely emotional reaction disguised in rational language. The intelligent person sees this, recognizes they are not debating ideas but emotions, and emotions do not respond to logic, so the intelligent person stops debating entirely. Schopenhauer understood something deeper. The person lacking intelligence cannot recognize that they lack it, because recognizing limitation requires the very capacity they do not have. They also cannot recognize superior intelligence in others. Your insight sounds like nonsense. Your depth appears as needless complication. Your nuance looks like confusion, because they lack the conceptual framework to perceive thought beyond their level. If you really understood it, you could explain it simply. This line, often used by the intellectually limited, shifts blame to the speaker instead of the listener. Sometimes complexity cannot be reduced without destroying it. Sometimes simplification mutilates truth. Sometimes the limitation lies not in the explanation, but in the listener. Schopenhauer's philosophy here is about releasing a particular form of suffering, craving recognition from those who are incapable of recognizing value. The intelligent person stops seeking validation from minds that cannot judge accurately. Their misunderstanding ceases to matter. And here is where it becomes truly interesting. Everything so far has been defensive, about protecting yourself from the exhaustion of interacting with limited thinking. But Schopenhauer went further. He didn't just teach how to avoid suffering because of stupidity. He showed how to use this knowledge strategically, how to operate in a world ruled by limited intelligence without becoming bitter, isolated, or ineffective. That's the next step. Schopenhauer wrote, "The cheapest sort of pride is national pride." An individual may occasionally think clearly. Place that same person inside a crowd and something shifts. Intelligence drops. Reason simplifies. Independent thought evaporates. Groups reward conformity, not reflection, emotion, not logic, belonging, not truth. Crowds are always intellectually inferior, always, because limitation spreads and intelligence does not. Watch rallies, protests, assemblies where everyone agrees. Nuance vanishes. Complex ideas collapse into slogans. Thinking stops, chanting begins. Schopenhauer saw that humanity in groups becomes less than the sum of its parts. The intelligent person never expects rational discourse from crowds. They speak to individuals, one mind at a time, or not at all. He also wrote, "All truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as self-evident." Limited intelligence is not just incapacity, it is active resistance. Most people do not want truth, they want comfort. Truth demands change, correction, and confrontation with reality. Comfortable lies soothe instantly. Everything happens for a reason. It will all work out. What's meant to be will be. These statements feel good, whether or not they're true. And for most people, comfort triumphs over truth every time. Schopenhauer recognized that many are naturally averse to truth. They choose pleasant illusion over uncomfortable reality almost without hesitation. The intelligent person stops offering truth to those who do not want it. They understand that unwanted truth produces resentment, not gratitude. They reserve honesty for the rare individuals who genuinely value it. Schopenhauer cautioned, it would be an utterly vain task to try to extract any meaning from such a mass of words. Here's what happens when you engage the intellectually limited in debate. You descend to their level. You adopt their framing, their vocabulary, their emotional reasoning. The longer the interaction lasts, the more you simplify, compromise, and reduce nuance to bite-sized pieces they might grasp. In that reduction, you sacrifice the substance of your own position. The limited thinker hasn't risen. The intelligent person has descended. Schopenhauer's philosophy here is protective. Your intelligence is a resource. Guard it. The intelligent person simply refuses the interaction. They understand some arguments aren't worth having because the cost is their own clarity. Schopenhauer observed, "A man can do what he wants, but not want what he wants." People don't change their minds through evidence. They change only through identity transformation. And identity transformation is rare, disruptive, and almost never triggered by someone presenting facts. A person's core opinion is part of their self-concept. Asking them to change their mind is asking them to become someone else. They cannot, or more accurately, they will not, because changing the belief means admitting they were wrong, and admitting they were wrong threatens their entire sense of self. That is unbearable. So they reject evidence instead. Schopenhauer's insight: people are what they are. Their fundamental nature, including their beliefs, is largely fixed. The intelligent person stops trying to change minds. They work with people as they are, not as they wish them to be. He wrote, "Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. Intelligence has biological ceilings. Most people are already near theirs. The intellectually limited cannot be sharpened through education, examples, or argument. They are operating at maximum capacity. That is the reality." Think practically. Have you ever truly elevated someone's core intelligence? Not taught a skill, but increased their capacity for abstract thought, reasoning, and intellectual honesty? No, it's impossible. Schopenhauer is brutally realistic. You cannot alter people's fundamental cognitive capacity. The intelligent person stops trying to fix the unfixable. They accept limitations as facts, not challenges. He wrote, "Man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills." Most people aren't making conscious choices. They are executing programs. Social conditioning, cultural scripts, biological drives. Watch how predictable they are. Same conversations, same reactions, same patterns. They don't vary because they aren't thinking. They are running on default settings. Schopenhauer recognized that free will is largely an illusion. We believe we are choosing, but we mostly rationalize what we were always going to do. The intelligent person understands this and works to override their programming. The limited person doesn't even know the programming exists. The strategy is simple. Stop expecting conscious deliberation from those who are running on autopilot. Adjust your expectations and approach accordingly. He wrote, "A man of genius can hardly be sociable. For what dialogues could indeed be so intelligent and entertaining as his own monologues? The more intelligent you are, the more isolated you will be, not due to antisocial tendencies, but because compatible minds are rare. Most conversations bore you. Most people cannot follow your thinking. If intelligence is normally distributed and you are in the top 5%, 95% of people cannot engage with you at your level." Schopenhauer lived this reality. He chose solitude over the exhaustion of constant simplification. His philosophy does not solve isolation. It offers acceptance. Intelligence creates distance. The clearer your perception, the fewer people can see with you. The intelligent person stops forcing connection with those who cannot meet them where they are. This is not loneliness. It is alignment with reality. He also wrote, "Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. And here's what happens when you hit targets nobody else can see. They resent you. Your intelligence makes their limitations visible, and that mirror provokes hostility. You are called pretentious, arrogant, too smart for your own good." Schopenhauer's solution is protective. Conceal your intelligence around the intellectually limited. Not from shame, but from unnecessary conflict. Operate with strategic discretion. Full clarity with the few who can understand it. Selective simplicity with everyone else. But here's where Schopenhauer's philosophy becomes truly powerful. Everything I've shared so far is about protection, shielding yourself from frustration, exhaustion, and needless suffering. Now, let me show you how this understanding gives you a real advantage. While everyone else wears themselves out trying to reason with the unreasonable, you operate with surgical precision. Schopenhauer wrote, "The wise have always said the same things, and fools, who are the majority, have always done just the opposite. And in that majority lies your opportunity. Once you accept that most people cannot think critically, you stop being surprised by their actions. You begin to predict them. You anticipate how they will respond to emotion versus logic. You know which arguments will succeed and which will fail before a word is spoken. You understand they will follow confidence over competence, comfort over truth, tribal loyalty over independent thought, and that predictability becomes your edge. While they react, you act strategically. While they are emotional, you are calculated. While they run on autopilot, you operate with full consciousness. Consider history. Every major figure who shaped the world understood this principle. They did not waste energy trying to convince everyone. They identified the small percentage capable of comprehension, persuaded them, and let that influence ripple outward through authority and social proof. Schopenhauer understood something crucial. You do not need to convince the majority. You only need to position yourself wisely within the system they have created. The majority follows authority, confidence, and social endorsement. The intelligent person does not fight the majority. They navigate around it. They cultivate relationships with the few who can think. They speak the language of simplicity and emotion to those who require it, reserving depth for those who can truly comprehend. They move through the world with minimal friction because they have accepted reality as it is. This is not manipulation. It is efficiency. You can either spend your life frustrated that people will not think, or you can accept it and operate strategically within reality. One path leads to exhaustion, the other to effectiveness. Schopenhauer chose effectiveness, and he never apologized for it. Here is your choice. Continue expecting others to rise to your level and suffer constant disappointment, or accept their limitations, adjust your approach, and finally make progress in a world governed by emotion rather than logic. This philosophy is not surrender. It is a smarter way to win. Schopenhauer's ultimate insight. The wise have always said the same things, and fools, the majority, have always done the opposite. Most people are intellectually limited. This will never change. You cannot fix it, alter it, or improve it. You can only accept it. And in that acceptance, you find freedom. Freedom from frustration, from disappointment, from wasted effort. You stop expecting understanding. You stop trying to make them think. You stop hoping for reason where none exists. You see limitation clearly, accept it as part of the landscape, and navigate accordingly. Not with cruelty, not with contempt, but with clarity. Schopenhauer studied humanity without illusion. He found peace not by changing people, but by accepting them as they are. His philosophy is this: see reality clearly, accept what cannot be changed, operate with precision within those constraints. Stop fighting the fundamental nature of human cognition. Conserve your intelligence, deploy it strategically, share it selectively, and reserve your depth for the rare individuals capable of meeting you there. For everyone else, give them what they can actually receive. Then move on without attachment or expectation. Here's what Schopenhauer would tell you: stop fighting reality. Most people are intellectually limited. Accept it. Most people cannot think critically. Accept it. Most people will never understand you. Accept it. This acceptance is not defeat. It is strategy. When you stop expecting intelligence where none exists, you stop suffering from its absence. When you stop trying to reason with the unreasonable, you preserve energy for what truly matters. Engage with reality as it is, not as you wish it were. Work with people at their actual level, not some imagined potential. Do this without bitterness, without superiority, without cruelty, only with clear sight. This is not cynicism, it is precision. Schopenhauer saw reality without comforting distortion, and that clarity, however uncomfortable, brought him peace. Now you can see clearly too. And in that clarity, you operate with the wisdom that comes from accepting what is, rather than suffering over what is not. This is how intelligent people deal with those who cannot think at their level, not by trying to fix them, not by exhausting themselves, but by seeing clearly, accepting reality, and acting with strategic precision within the world as it truly exists.